Hey friends, welcome back to Homestead on a Prayer. In case you're new here, my name's Jennifer. We're out here in my garden on this beautiful fall day that feels like a summer day. I think this is the last really warm summer feeling day we're going to have, most likely this year, definitely at least for the foreseeable future. So in honor of this beautiful summer feeling day, something really exciting came in the mail today. This is my seed grab bag from MIgardener. Now, a lot of times at the end of the year, seed companies will do some sort of closeout special, a big sale, or in this case, a grab bag. And you can get some really great deals on seeds if you shop those end of the season clearance sales. Now, those seeds will still be good the following year. Seeds in most cases will last for several years, sometimes many years, as long as you store them properly. But because seed companies are legally not allowed to sell seeds for more than a year, you can get some great deals that way. So basically, MIgardener was doing a deal where I could get 30 packs of seeds. These are a complete mystery to me. So we're going to open these together. We're going to find out what I got together. I have no idea what's inside. So basically, by buying this mystery pack, I was able to save a lot of money. These came out to less than $1 a seed pack, which is a great deal. I also purchased this grab bag last year, and I ended up getting some great seeds in that deal. I discovered some new favorite varieties, and a lot of them were things that I would never have thought to pick out on my own, but because they were sent to me, I decided to give them a try, and as I said, I ended up discovering some new favorites that way. So I'm really excited to see what new favorites might be waiting in this package for me. So I waited for you guys to open it. I haven't opened it. I have no idea what's in here. We're going to open this and we're going to find out together. So there's always something a little bit fun about getting a mystery grab bag. Now, admittedly, I may end up with some varieties that may not be my favorite, something that I probably wouldn't have chosen on my own. But a lot of times, as I said, I get varieties this way and end up being really surprised with some that I may never have thought of. So let's take a look at our first seed pack. This is curled chervil, not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm gonna be honest and say I really have no idea what this plant is. It says that it's French parsley, wonderful herb for soups, stews, salads, and more. So we'll give this a try. So this is a fun one. I'm not familiar with it at all, so it'll be a fun one to try. If you are familiar with this, if you've grown it before, or if you've cooked with it before, or anything like that, go ahead and let me know what it's like. Let me know how you like to use it, because as I said, complete new one to me. So let's see what we have next in here. Next is champion collards. Collards are one brassica that I've never grown before. I love broccoli, cauliflower, kale. I like Brussels sprouts, even though some people in my family disagree with me on that, so I don't grow them for that reason. But collards could be a really fun one to try. So I know they have a reputation of being more of a southern vegetable. So especially if you live up north and you grow them, let me know how you like them and how they do for you. So again, that could be a really fun one to try. All right, let's see what we have next. Next, we have large leaf sorrel. Sorrel I have eaten before. I've never grown it before, but it has a really pungent lemony flavor, which can be kind of nice. That being said, I've only really just kind of tried it plain. I haven't ever cooked with it. So if you have any suggestions or ideas for ways that you like to use sorrel, let me know. Do you just like to put it in a salad, or do you like to cook with it? I'm really curious to hear your experience with it. This says it's a great leaf for adding lemon, zing, and vitamin C to soups, smoothies, salads, or baking. So, could be fun to try. All right, let's see what we've got next. Next is piccolino basil, and that looks so cute. Now, I love basil, and I love growing a wide variety of basil, so this will be a great one for me. I have never tried this variety before, but this looks like a beautiful plant with tiny little leaves. It says it's the tiniest basil variety around. Small, spicy Greek basil leaves that grow in a tree-like dome, perfect for small pots and fairy gardens. So actually, this might be a good one to try growing inside over the winter. So I'll give that a try, and we'll be adding that to the basil rotation at least next year. If I don't get to it over the winter, I'll definitely give this one a try next year. All right, let's see. Next, we have the Thomas Laxton pea. I do love growing peas. Based on the picture, I'm saying this looks like a shelling pea. Yes, it says it's a shelling pea that's commercially grown for the production of baby food. I've never grown a shelling pea before. I've only ever grown snap peas. So honestly, I've never really been tempted to try shelling peas just because I get such a good production from snap peas. It seems like such a more efficient use of space when you get to eat the pod as well. But This also says no trellising needed for this little plant that only grows up to 20 inches high. So the fact that it doesn't need trellising means I might be able to kind of stick this in around some larger plants that I'm growing. So that'll make it fun to try. And maybe if I'm feeling ambitious, maybe this could be a good one to try inside in the winter too. So I'll let you know how I like this one. Now, as I go through these seed packets here, if there's any that I mentioned that you've grown before, I would love to hear your experience about any of these, because so far, all of the seed packets that I've opened are completely new to me and something I haven't tried before. So again, I would love to hear your experience. So let's see what we've got next. So next we've got Great Lakes crisp head lettuce. Now, I've never grown crisp head lettuce before, but it is supposed to be really good to grow in the summer. So this might be a great option to keep lettuce harvest going all summer long, or at least later into the summer. Depending on your area, you may find that it's really difficult to keep lettuce growing all summer long. When it gets really hot, lettuce tends to bolt, and at that point it turns bitter. So this variety, I'm not familiar with the specific variety, but I know crisp head lettuce is supposed to last longer in the summer, so I'm excited to give that one a try and hopefully be able to keep salads going through July and August too. All right, let's see our next one. Vintage white strawflower. Now, I've never grown strawflowers before. As you can see, so far, we are continuing with plants that I've never grown before. Strawflowers are really pretty though, and they make great cut flowers because they dry really easily and really well. So they do last quite a long time in a vase. And I used to love strawflowers as a kid. I thought it was so fun that they came basically pre-dried. So these will be kind of fun to intermingle along with my vegetable garden and just see how these do. All right, let's see what we got next. Red shiso. Again, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. Feel free to correct me on anything that I'm pronouncing wrong, because there's quite a bit that I'm not really familiar with here. So this is a Japanese heirloom spicy herb, perfect for cooking Asian cuisine. Red leaves that smell like cinnamon and clove. That sounds interesting. So this is another one. I'm not familiar with it. I've never grown it. I've never eaten it. I've never cooked with it. So I would love to hear any information you have about this. All right, let's grab our next one. Persimmon tomato. That looks pretty. Now, tomatoes are my weakness when it comes to gardening. I love tomatoes. There is nothing like a sun-ripened fresh tomato, fresh from the garden. So good. Like nothing that you will ever get from the grocery store. So I like to grow a lot of tomatoes, and this is a variety that I'm not even familiar with, but it looks really pretty. So this looks like an heirloom, a Russian variety. I'm not familiar with this one specifically, but a lot of times when you find tomatoes that are native to colder climates like Russia, a lot of times that means that they have a tolerance for cold, and sometimes they will yield earlier than some of the varieties that are native to warmer climates. So I don't know if that's the case with this one, but that could be something to keep in mind, and it looks like a beautiful orange tomato. So let's see. Next we have Hartman's yellow gooseberry tomato. Those are cute little yellow cherry tomatoes. These look really good. Produces prolific clusters of bright yellow fruits, bursting with sweet, tangy flavor. So this looks really fun. I always love to grow a big variety of cherry tomatoes, so this little yellow one should add some nice color to my tomato basket. And actually, this year I didn't have a true yellow. I have Sun Gold, which is more of a bright orangey gold color, and I had Berry's Crazy Cherry, which is a really pale yellow. I didn't have any of this true yellow, so next year I guess we'll be adding another color to the tomato basket. All right, next, Cornucopia Gourd Mix. These are so fun. I remember as a kid I used to love these gourds. So these would make beautiful decorations for fall. I don't think that these are edible. I think that you mainly grow them, so decorative gourds. So these would mainly be grown just for a little bit of atmosphere. But these could definitely be fun. If I can find some space for these in my garden mixed with all my edibles, we'll definitely give these a try, and it'll be fun to see what we get from this mix. Now, from the MIgardener Homestead collection, I got this Utah Sweet Spanish Onion. I want to say I may have actually gotten this same one in my grab bag last year. I did not end up trying it, so this is a reminder that I should probably give this a try. So it says that these can grow up to 1 pound or more each, mild taste and sweetness, ideal for caramelization. I do love caramelized onions. So this will be a fun one to try. Now, if you've been following along with me for any length of time, you know that onions are my nemesis when it comes to growing in the garden. I just cannot get good sized onions to grow in my garden. And every year I'm determined to conquer the onion. So if you have any onion growing tips, I would love to hear them. And this will be one of the onion varieties that I'm trying again with next year. All right, got quite a few seed packets left, so let's start getting through them. Here, this is also from the Homestead collection. We have the Danvers 126 carat. And so first established in Massachusetts, that could be good for me because I'm in Connecticut. So something that is used to growing in a similar climate to me is probably more likely to do well in my climate. That being said, I know I mentioned onions being my garden nemesis. Carrots are a pretty close second up there. I've consistently not been able to grow really sizable carrots. The carrots that I have grown have had great flavor, but they're just so tiny. So I don't know if maybe I need to add some sort of amendment to my soil to grow root vegetables like this. If you have any carrot growing tips and any onion growing tips, go ahead and leave those in the comments because I would love to hear them. All right, let's see. Next, edible chrysanthemum. I'm not going to try to pronounce that name. I did get this actually in my grab bag last year and I haven't tried it yet. So I have 2 seed packets of this to try now. I am not really sure what to do with this, which I guess is why I didn't really try it, but it looks really pretty. And the greens are supposed to be edible. So it looks really pretty. Again, if you have any experience with this, I would love to hear that. All right, let's see what we got next. Pink bachelor's button. These are really pretty. I do really like bachelor's buttons in my garden. I really do like to grow a lot of flowers in my vegetable garden mixed in with all my edibles. I find that they make the garden a beautiful space. As you can see behind me, I've got some cosmos and nasturtiums really still going strong, even though we're definitely into October, getting close to mid-October probably by the time you see this video. I find that they just make the garden beautiful. They attract pollinators, they help my vegetables to do better. And something like this, the bachelor's button, really doesn't take up a lot of space. I can really easily stick that in between the vegetables I'm growing, so these are really pretty. Let's see. Guessing I'm probably about halfway through maybe. Let's see what we got. Jalapeno pepper, classic. I grow jalapenos every year. I don't think, oh, this is the early jalapeno. Okay, so I grow this one regularly. This is one that I've grown many times, so this is just a good restock of seeds for me. Every year I grow the jalapeno and usually one other variety to go with it. I mean, every year I grow the early jalapeno, which this is, and probably one other variety to go with it. So these are a tried and true favorite, so it's good to get a restock of those. All right, see, the next one is something that my son is gonna like. That is Hale's Best Jumbo Cantaloupe. My son and my husband really enjoy cantaloupe. I've never actually successfully grown cantaloupe. I've only tried before with the mini varieties, so this will be a new one to try. But my son and my husband do really love fresh summer cantaloupe, so this will be a fun one to try next year. Next, we have the Congo Watermelon. Now, watermelon is very popular in my house. I haven't really grown it just because it does take up a lot of growing space. So I do want to try growing watermelon though, so I'm going to have to find a spot to try growing some of this. I'll keep you guys updated wherever we find to do this. It says this is one of the more drought-resistant watermelon varieties, thrives on long, hot days. This year we definitely did not have a drought, but judging by previous weather conditions, usually whenever we have a rainy summer, the following summer, we don't get a lot of rain. So if that pattern holds true, growing a drought-resistant watermelon might be a good choice for next summer. So, again, I'm not familiar with this variety. If you are, I'd love to hear your experience with it. Next, we have Lady Slipper Radish. These are really pretty. Now, admittedly, I'm not a huge radish fan. I do find them to have a decent flavor when you roast them. That's probably the best way that I would eat them, or the way that we would enjoy them the most. But, let's see. It does say this is one of the most mild heirloom varieties, so this might be a good choice for us. And radishes grow and mature so quickly that it definitely can't hurt to throw a few seeds in the ground and see what happens. You know, honestly, I could probably throw a couple seeds in the ground this fall maybe not get a harvest, but it would at least be worth a try. It says 25 days till maturity, and radishes are fairly cold tolerant. So I may try a couple this fall. Probably won't have very much success, but first thing in the spring, I can stick some of these in the ground and see how they do. They're definitely really pretty. Next, we have Mauna Red Streaks Mustard. This is another one that I haven't tried before, but I believe this is a cold tolerant green, and cold tolerant greens are always welcome here in Connecticut, where we have long winters, and I really do like to have greens growing in the garden as much of the year as possible, so this will be a good one to try. Next we have light red kidney bean. I've never tried kidney beans before. I'm trying to see if okay, it says that this is a bush bean. So bush beans are really easy to interplant along with some larger vegetable varieties. So if I wanted to just give this a try, I could just stick some seeds in between all my other plant varieties and see how it does. Beans are also great for that because they do enrich your soil, so this will add nitrogen to the soil. I don't anticipate that I'll be able to grow enough of these to get a really significant harvest. Dried beans, I think you usually have to allot quite a bit of space for them to get a decent harvest, but I would say it's definitely worth a try. So I'll stick a few of these in the ground next year and we'll see how they do. All right, let's see. Long grain rice. Wow, that is pretty cool. Rice has never been on my radar to try, but wouldn't that be a fun thing to grow though? So it doesn't need a rice paddy to grow. That's good because I definitely don't have one of those. Plants will grow as long as they're kept damp and well watered. So this could definitely be a fun experiment. I know nothing about growing rice, so I definitely have to do some research to give this a try. But as I said, this is definitely a fun one. Okay, let's see. The next one is Swiss chard. Swiss chard's kind of a great go-to for cooler weather. This makes a great plant to grow first thing in the spring, to last long towards the end of fall. This would be good for winter sowing as well. I'm planning to do some winter sowing this year by starting some cold hardy things in old milk jugs on my deck, and Swiss chard would be a great candidate for that. I did grow this past year, I grew some orange and red Swiss chard this way, so this would be a good one to add to the mix. Let's see. Ooh, snowball cauliflower. I love cauliflower, and homegrown cauliflower is so good. I actually was thinking that I needed to try a different variety of cauliflower next year, so it looks like this will be the one. So homegrown cauliflower is a little bit finicky. I've had mixed success with it. Some years it's done amazingly well. Other years it hasn't formed a sizable head. So hopefully next year will be a good cauliflower year. We'll see how that does. Next is the Early Wonder Tall Top Beet. Now, admittedly, my family is not a huge fan of beets, so I will try to do some research and see if I can come up with something that's going to inspire me to want to try growing beets. If you have any suggestions, I know roasting is the way to go for most vegetables. It definitely enhances the flavor of a lot of different kinds of vegetables. But I would love to hear, if you are not a big fan of beets, is there any way that you do like to eat them? So I'll be waiting to hear your comments on that one. Next, we have another pea variety. This is the blizzard pea. And, okay, so this one, it looks like you eat the pods. So that would be more what we're used to growing. I usually grow sugar snap peas, and this looks like a variety similar to that. So these can definitely be a fun one to grow. Days to maturity, 50 to 90 days. I wonder, I would guess that that's probably, if you want to eat the pods, it'd be more like 50 days. If you want to shell them and eat the peas inside, 90 days. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but just based on that really long range, that would be my guess. So this is a new pea variety, so that will be a good one to try first thing in the spring. Next is Purple Vienna kohlrabi. Kohlrabi is really good. I didn't grow any this year. I did, I think 2 years ago or maybe 3 years ago, I did grow some kohlrabi and we did enjoy it. So this would be a fun one just to give another try to. This is another brassica that you can grow that definitely does not take up as much space as something like a broccoli or a cauliflower or Brussels sprouts. So this is a fun one to grow with a pretty quick maturity date too. All right. Next we have Trucker's Favorite Yellow Corn. It's a staple field variety that has been cultivated for years. So it says that this one is good for making grits and cornmeal. Honestly, I'm probably not going to be able to grow this. I find that I've tried corn a couple times. I don't really have the space to grow corn really well. Because corn is wind pollinated, you need a lot of space so that you can grow a lot of plants if you want to ensure reliable pollination. I've just never had great pollination when I've grown corn before. So I will have to find somebody who can make use of this corn, and hopefully they will enjoy it. All right, we've got 2 seed packets left. Okay, so here is another type of corn. This is Oaxacan green dent. So this one, it says, can be used as animal feed, which my chickens would probably actually appreciate that if I only had space to grow this. So it says you can eat the seedlings by tossing them in salads. That's interesting. I could probably do that. I have been able to get corn to germinate and grow. It just doesn't produce ears because it usually doesn't get pollinated. But if I could eat the seedlings, that might be an interesting... This actually might be a good thing to try growing as a microgreen maybe. So I may give this a try inside, and I'll have to look into that other corn variety and see if I can do the same thing with that one too. This definitely is really pretty. I would love to be able to grow that. All right, last one. Cannellini beans. I love cannellini beans. They're so good and so delicious. I've never tried growing them though, so this could be a fun experiment to grow. And it says, let's see, this is a bush variety as well. So that does make it easier to be able to stick in between other plants. So this will be a fun variety. If you've grown cannellini beans, I would love to hear how that experience went for you. So there you go. We've got a whole variety of seeds. Most of these I would not have picked out on my own, but I'm excited to give them a try. So I'm going to grow as many of these as I can in my garden next year, and I just find that it's always fun to experiment, especially with things that I wouldn't have necessarily picked out on my own. So again, if you have any experience with any of these seeds, especially ones that I mentioned I've never grown before, I would love to hear your experience. And if you have any suggestions for how to grow these, how to cook them, anything like that, I would love to hear all of that from you guys. So thank you so much for joining me today and opening my seed packet and going through my seed haul with me. It's always a lot of fun to get to share it with you guys, so I appreciate you taking the time to be here. So I hope you're having a great day, and I can't wait to see you soon. I'll see you next time.